Hey everyone, it's Alicia, joined by my co-host, the incredible Tori Kravitz, and welcome back to She's with the Band. Hi.
Hi, how's it going, dude?
I feel like at this point, we just need to be super open with everybody who is listening, who is watching. This is literally the fourth interview in a row that we have filmed today. Now, in sequence to when these are aired, of course, that'll not be the case in terms of air date, but fourth interview. So I'm so happy because I got to spend the day with you, my friend.
I know, it's so insane. Once again, I've seen you more than my roommate today, which is,
Ooh,
I can't complain. I can't
no
complain.
complaints.
I really enjoyed all the chats today. And when your work doesn't feel like work because it like energizes you instead of taking your energy away, I feel like that's
Mhm.
how I'm feeling today.
I love that
Yeah.
so much. And what's great is in terms of today's guest as well, because yeah, every conversation today has been fantastic, but this is the only guest I've known previously to this.
Mm.
And weirdly enough, it was through Knotfest. I used to host Knotfest Daily on their Twitch every single day. And I remember doing this joint interview with Heidi from Butcher Babies, along with Lena Scissorhands from Infected Rain. And she is just so energetic. She just seems like such a lovely soul. And so today we are having her on She's with the Band, and the
Yeah.
stories I'm sure are going to be amazing, as they always are.
Dude, I'm so excited. And this is one that I'm not familiar. I haven't met her before. And it's interesting, right? Like I found her through my Instagram explore page because of course I'd have a bunch of hot metal chicks on my page. And I was just like, she is so fabulous, and heard the music. I was like, okay, yeah, absolutely love this. So to me, like when you see somebody only on your Instagram, it's almost like they're a little bit of a celebrity. So I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be
La
cool today
la.
for me.
Not
So
not
thank you
only
for
is it
being the
a
connecting force.
I mean, not only is it a good interview, but it's going to be a big one, which is always exciting for us, and very
Mhm.
happy to be that medium in between. But yeah, it's going to be really good. Now, of course, before we bring her on, we always talk music. I know beforehand we're always pulling up, like, oh, what are we going to speak about today? So, who is your band?
Yeah, so I'm bringing it back this time around. I have a throwback. I feel like I tried to come
Ooh.
on with new music, but let's be honest, I'm a Depeche Mode girly. I'm a big
Mm.
Depeche Mode girly. And I've also been watching The Last of Us, so tying in something I've been watching too. And ever since Never Let Me Down Again was in that episode. I won't say which, I don't want to spoil nothing. But it was featured in an episode. I was like, oh my God, I love Depeche Mode. And so I've been on a
Mm-hmm.
bit of a kick with them at the moment. That song in particular was one that I never paid honestly that much attention to, that I'm just like, oh, it's a vibe. So and you know what? I would also like to mention, I know this is like not fest, heavy music. Let's talk heavy music. And I think more heavy bands than you may think are inspired by Depeche Mode. So I just want to throw that out there because I could
Well,
definitely think of a few.
I am going to use that exact same point for the band that I am going to talk about. It's a little band from Liverpool that have inspired just a couple of heavy bands. The Beatles, okay? Everyone knows
Oh,
it's no secret that they are my favorite band of all time. And as of late, I've been on this really crazy kick in terms of the more trippy psychedelic tracks from the Beatles. So anything, especially with the George Harrison little twist on it with the sitars and everything. But I love You Too, Within You, Without You, Strawberry Fields, Flying, because anything that just makes it feel like you're kind of in that happy daze and everything's soaring around you in this wonderful ethereal way. That is what I'm all about lately. So I've been listening to them a lot. And then luckily because of that, it leads you into other bands all of the time, like of getting into Cream even more, which I never really was like,
nice.
as a kid at least. I just knew the singles, but deep diving. So that's been fun. And it's taken me on like a little 60s journey. So I can't ever regret that.
That is so awesome. I really like that we both picked like legacy acts, bands that are just timeless at this point. And I really, that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, is how artists like this, yeah, they didn't scream in their music and there's no chug 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 like a lot of the music that we feature on Knotfest. Yeah, you heard that. But at the end of the day, like music is universal, and bands you may never suspect may love the Beatles and say the Beatles are one of their biggest inspirations for their songwriting, and yet it's like, I don't know, someone crazy, I have no idea if this is true, but like Lamb of God or something like loves the Beatles. I just made that up, but you get the
You
juxtaposition I'm
heard it
trying to
here first,
explain.
folks.
This is bad journalism. But the same way, I know a few bands that love Depeche Mode. Like for example, I'm very close with Boston Manor, and I know that they love Depeche Mode. You would never guess the two. So there you go. And so I love being able to talk about music like this with you, because I think we both have a bit of a soft spot for the oldies.
We really do. And I know how many times we've been called old souls in the past, and it just reflects so much in the music. And like we said, a lot of this new music that we're listening to wouldn't be here or wouldn't have come to be or been forged if it weren't for these classics. So we talk about new bands every single week, and let's fuse it a little bit because we love everything. That was one of the coolest parts of our playlist, is looking through thinking we love so much music. It's amazing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, that's at the end of the day, this podcast is all about celebrating music and the music that we love, and especially the women who make music that we love, like Infected Rain. So should we bring her on?
Let's do this, Tori.
Let's go. And we are joined now by Lena Scissorhands of Infected Rain. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I am doing fantastic, overwhelmed with a lot of things that I am part of and I have to do, but enjoying it. I'm having fun. I don't like sitting around, like after a while, I feel useless. Does it make sense?
So you're one of those people like where when you're resting, you're like, but how can I rest productively? Are you that kind of person?
I mean, I definitely learned better how to disconnect and actually have rest, for sure. I'm doing better than I used to, but sometimes, especially when I don't know my limits and I'm like, I'll do that as well. Oh, and I'll do that as well. And you're like,
sounds familiar.
36 hours instead of 24.
I know. No, we definitely relate. We need 36-hour days instead of 24. So whoever can hook that up, let us know.
Yeah, come on, just make that universal change. It's no big deal.
I know,
I mean,
right?
manifesting, right? I'm speaking it into existence.
Exactly. I mean, somehow people came to the 24 hours. Next level, next step.
Evolution
now. But
we don't even know what we are asking for, girls. Stop.
You're right. We need to rest at some point. But we wanted to welcome you onto this podcast because obviously you've worked so hard to get to where you are now, and I admire the path of your career so much. So I would love to start by just taking this to the beginning, because I know Infected Rain has been around, what is it, 13 years now? Is that
actually, believe it or not, this summer is going to be 15.
Wow, that's amazing. So 15 years. And started in Moldova as well, which I know you've spoken in previous interviews about how difficult it can be to make as an artist over there because of just the lack of opportunity and resources, funding, things like that. There's just not quite the same music scene there as other places. And somehow Infected Rain is the exception to the rule, probably because of your work ethic and drive as well. But I would love to hear a little bit.
Stubborn. We are so stubborn.
I mean, you've worked so hard and independently too in the beginning. So I'd love to hear more about your journey of coming out of Moldova and becoming this international act that you are now, and what it was like for you.
Well, I feel like there's so much I could say about it. Like, we won't have enough time because there's a lot that helped this path. There's a lot that aligned in a certain way just so this could happen. Throughout my life, I lived in different countries. And even though I was born in Moldova, in the capital, I really had to travel. I had to live in other countries. My parents are from other places, and then my family moved when I was a teenager to Italy, where they live till this day, and they lived there literally longer than we lived in Moldova. So like long time. But for some reason, when I was living in Italy and I was doing university, so we're talking age 19, 20, 21, right? Like around that, around those numbers. Somehow it felt like I don't belong, and I didn't know where I would belong, but I was working hard. I was a student of the university. I was doing languages, and at the same time I was working as a hairdresser and makeup artist. which is a job that I picked up when I was 16, and I always loved it. It made me kept me creative. So I thought that's it. I'm going to do this forever, my entire life, right? But
Little did we
somehow
know.
Swerve.
somehow I just didn't feel complete. Something was not right, and I couldn't pinpoint what it was. Now, going back and forth to my country, visiting some friends, and some even weddings of my friends, and so somehow I felt like maybe I have to go back to my country. Maybe I just don't feel like home in this new country, even though at the time I was already living there for 4 years. Um, so I did. That's how everything kind of started. I moved back to Moldova in 2007, and literally the end of 2007 is when I got invited by my friends, musicians. There's not, I mean, Moldova in general is pretty small country, but like the capital is so small, the city, you can literally walk from one point of the city to another in, I don't know, with a slow walk, maybe 2 hours. Like it won't even
Wow.
take you long. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating, but I remember it being small, and I remember like literally walking places and nothing felt distant, from the center of the city to my house and stuff like that, right? So the reason I'm bringing that up is that all musicians kind of knew each other, kind of were friends between them, and even if you weren't a musician, like in my case, somehow I had friends that were musicians because I would go to local shows, and um, people that were listening to alternative music, that was, my in this circle of friends that were giving me music to listen to as well. They would like play an instrument as well. So basically, two friends musicians, out of curiosity, out of the fun, for no reason, just asked me to sing. Literally no reason other than
Just
that.
out of the blue.
Just
Wow.
out of fun,
Completely.
just like, it would be nice. You can just pick up this mic. It was they were doing more like electronic metal covers of some existing songs at the time. Even though they had some songs that they were working together, but it was just the beginning of something these two friends were doing. And one was a guitar player, one was a DJ. And yeah, that's what I did for fun, without feeling judged, without feeling pressure, without feeling anything. I just sang whatever words I remembered. We would like print the lyrics for some other songs. And one day the DJ, he told me that he thinks that I have a good voice, and maybe I should look into it. Maybe I should find a teacher or something. So all of that kind of together at the same time, things were just starting to feel more right, like in a way where there were rehearsals every week, and we were having fun, and I was feeling that interesting sensation that I never felt before, that is a physical satisfaction from singing, which I never was familiar with before. I always loved dancing. I feel like growing up, I always had this passion for dancers, and I would look at the dancers and like all these music videos and the things that they could do, and always mesmerized what a human body can do, and in the rhythm, right? And yeah, my parents were actually dancers. That's how they met. So I don't know, for some reason I had this connection with the music always, but I never really tried singing or composing or anything like that. And I already kind of had a job that made me super happy and fulfilled, and I didn't have to, right, until then. So yeah, he planted this seed in my head, and I was like, maybe he's right. Maybe, just for myself, maybe I should look into a teacher. So that's what I did. Highly recommended vocal teacher from the University of Music in Chisinau, in the city I was staying. Yeah, I remember calling her, telling her what is my age, and I remember she was a little bit skeptical because music is so complex that a lot of people are very, um, people are afraid to start with an older pupil, with an older student, right? But when I told her that I do it for myself, she didn't really, she didn't have that anymore. And she's like, okay, well, if you do it for yourself, of course, I'm not going to waste your time and take your money if I'll see that there's nothing there to work with. Not everybody uh, literally can do it, like, yes, you can put a lot of hard work into it and learn a lot, but still you kind of have to be musical a little bit.
Mhm.
At least that's what she told me, at the time. I was so nervous. I couldn't like calm down and just enjoy it for a while. I was very nervous, and I felt insanely um like a little child that doesn't even know how to walk, basically. But yeah, I had lessons with her for 3 years of my career, and she definitely taught me a lot when it comes to breathing, singing, and you know she gave me so much knowledge that I had no idea. I never studied music, not even in school. So, but at the same time, simultaneously, the band was like getting more serious about it. They started doing their own songs, and then I started applying lyrics with the help of with the help of the musician to put like melody to it. And writing lyrics was something that was the easiest part of this job for me, at least, because I started writing poems when I was like a teenager, and I was misunderstood by everybody. You know what I mean?
Oh, we do.
We've all been
Yeah,
there.
so me and my best friend in school, that's what we would do. We would just write poems at the time in Russian, and we would be the only ones to read each other's poems, nobody else, right? I
Wow.
still have that notebook.
Oh.
And but slowly, like later on, because I was doing languages and I lived in other countries, I started writing in other languages as well. And in fact, the very first lyrics that I applied for the very first single, Judgmental Trap, I actually applied some lyrics that were a poem that I wrote long ago, like not when I was 14, but maybe 18 or something like that. It was something that was still touching me, still giving me emotion. So I worked on it a little bit, but as a base, I took something that was already there, which was super cool. So writing lyrics was never really as challenging for me. Obviously, later on, I started looking up more techniques of writing lyrics and reading more books, and with a bigger vocabulary, it was more interesting to express myself using unique words. I get super passionate about words, and like if I find a new word, I get crazy and I start using it everywhere.
Can I know what the latest word is? Has there been one lately that you like fixated on?
Integument. Look it up.
Okay.
I don't know what that
Integument.
means.
I know, look it up.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I will after this interview. I promise.
Homework of the day. Look it up. It's really interesting word. But one of, like just like that, I would pick up like interesting words and this and that and bring it to the lyrics, right? I believe the most challenging for me was actually to learn to apply melody to these words. So like composing, I never done it before. It's not like you can do whatever you want.
Right.
There's a certain key, there's a certain this, there's a certain rules that you cannot avoid.
Right.
Even if you don't know the rules, there's certain rules that you cannot avoid. But there are other rules that are not like as strict, and you can play around. So I had to learn all that, right? And thanks to my musicians, which the guitar player is still in the band, Vidic, the guy with the dreads, and his friend was our DJ. In fact, we had him until the first album, a little bit after, I think. Then he moved completely from the country, doing something completely different. So that's why he's not in the band. But yeah, slowly, Vidic, he knew more people because he's been a musician for, I don't know, forever. I think he was 13 when he like joined his first band. He was very young.
Wow.
And he had you know, a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of musicians he knew. So, you know, he invited people to join the band. And slowly we found, you know, our crew, our band, our guys, and we just started investing everything, time, money, ideas, everything, literally everything. And that is what you have to do in the beginning, no matter what, no matter what people say, no matter what job you have, no matter what you know, situation in the family you have. If you want to be a musician, or if you want to at least give it a proper chance, a proper try, you have to, right? So that's what we did. In fact, to record the first album, I remember working on 3 jobs.
Wow.
Because the prices for the recording studio that we found out was the best at the time were astronomical for the salaries that are, you know, average in Moldova. And unfortunately, that is the sad situation of that country till this day. The salary, the amount of money people get for their jobs, and the amount of money, the living costs, and the, you know, groceries, and, you know, the things that you need most are just as much as in Europe, but but you don't make as much. So it's always been very difficult. That's why a lot of people work extra hours, pick extra jobs, side jobs, just so they can afford a vacation or something, you know. So that's what I did. Basically, you know, the opportunity was there in the right time, and I just, you know, I was a bartender, and I worked in basically 2 night jobs and 1 day job, the hair and makeup artist.
Wow.
It was crazy difficult. In fact, I got sick very fast. But you know, thanks to that and everything else that my musicians could do, we were able to invest and make the first album happen. Because no matter how much you play, like how many shows you do in the beginning, if there's no physical or digital music for people to listen, to buy, to invest, to support, you basically are not going to have enough money to invest in the next thing. And that's how we were doing it for years. For years we were independent, and you know, eventually I think when we were like 7-year-old as a band, we got our first proposal to collaborate with, you know, a smaller record deal. We didn't take it. We didn't feel like it was the right one. And then slowly we had more and more every year. You know, people were noticing us because we were very persistent, and we were filming really good music videos, at least as good as we could, you know, and in that country, with people that live there, with the possibilities there at least. And, you know, we were playing as many shows as physically was possible as well. So yeah, we started getting some proposals here and there, but yeah, we were independent for 10 years until we finally found the winner and decided to sign with Napalm Records. And since then we've done 2 more albums with them. So 3 albums independently and 2 with Napalm Records so far.
I mean, you are such an incredible example, though. Like, people could easily just look at you and say, oh, you were just so lucky. But it's like the opportunity was there. The opportunity was there, yes, but also the amount of work and sacrifice that goes into that. It's not luck, you know.
It's literally years of just driving and busting your chops, and it's just in that story alone.
There was no opportunity. That's the thing. And even though a lot of people that don't know the band and they discover it now, sometimes they can be really like rude or like somehow too direct without like technically know. They would be like, oh, they probably got lucky, or oh, they got where they got because it's a girl singing and now it's a thing. But we started that before it was a thing. And
Yeah.
also, even if it's a thing, right? Even if it's a thing, many things are the thing. Many things, right?
Yeah.
That's not the right way to say you were in a right place. I would say we were in the wrong place, in the wrong time, the wrong place. And that's why it took us forever to be where we are. And we are still working on to do, every single step in our career is like a lot of work, a lot of persistence, a lot of, making sure everything is perfect. I don't know how to explain, like the more you give to people, the more standards you have to keep.
Right.
And sometimes it can be overwhelming, because it can be, but on the other hand, the good thing is we don't care what people think.
Yeah.
We
Good.
just do what we love, because life is too short, man. And there's going to be haters, fans, there's going to be haters, musicians, there's even going to be haters that are like in the industry, like, I don't know, that work in the industry, like behind the curtains. We can't please everybody, and we are not trying to. We are just trying to be Infected Rain. We are not trying to be anybody else, and we don't invite anybody else to be Infected Rain, But yeah, before judging somebody, we would only like invite people to make sure they know what they're talking about before being like, this or that,
Yeah. Well, guess what? Now you could just direct
Easy.
them to this interview and be like, hey, you want to know what's up? It's all right here.
Yeah, I
For
know, but
real.
the thing is, people are lazy.
Right.
And they much rather do their own like assumption, make their own assumption.
Right.
Much rather do that than literally Google it.
Right.
Just Google it.
Right.
And like literally to the point where there's people in Russia thinking that we are a Russian band. And there's people in America thinking that we are an American band because they never Googled it. Just because I speak both languages or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, like it's really interesting. Like almost every day I open my like DMs or something and I'm like,
I can't even imagine. I actually, in the introduction for this episode, I was saying I found out about Infected Rain and found you through my Instagram Explore page. You have quite the influence. And I would say for the most part, from what I have seen, because you are all over my Explore page, it's so overwhelmingly positive. And I think that's like really the key as well, is like the amount of word of mouth that's been positive for Infected Rain, from what I can see, far exceeds any negative assumptions. And you deserve every ounce of success that you have, and then some. Big time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That being said, of course, I want to add that we think that our fans, like the true fans and listeners of Infected Rain, are something else, man. The crazy things they do for us, the crazy pleasant things, not like crazy, like you're out of your mind.
Right, the love and support that they show.
In such a warm and such a almost family-like way, like to the point where a lot of our fans, and you guys know who you are, they helped us sometimes in situations where we literally needed a ride to the airport and in the middle of the night after a show when we couldn't go because it was an emergency. I've had that in 2019, and this person took me 9 hours of driving to the closest airport there was for me to grab a ticket and do what I needed to do for my personal life, and then other things like, how many times so-called promoters, you also know who you are, that like don't show up and you have no place to spend the night. And that happens to a lot of upcoming bands that unfortunately are not either not ready yet or not there yet to have more crew, more people working and doing that for them. Right. That happened to us in the past. Obviously it's amazing that cannot happen anymore because too many people are involved, but yeah, we had to sleep on pool tables and on the same stage we performed as well.
That's
So
insane to me.
yeah.
It's not surprising, unfortunately, but I think the best outlook here is that you do have such a positive spin on everything that can be thrown your way that's a negative. And I think that's attributed to the fact that you have such a heartfelt and touching journey to how you got here. And of course, we just heard a little bit of your story in the intro there, but going from so much negativity growing up to finding peace in life now isn't easy. But I do know for you that daily reading and meditation has become such a huge vice for you. And those are things that Tori and I love as well. So I'd just love for you to kind of talk about that energy and shift in mindset and committing to that new sense of self-care, because it is so important in terms of positivity in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very, very happy that you brought it up, because it was something I had to find for myself, because I wasn't doing very well mentally at all. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because I'm as well a human being, just like everybody else. And I have my moments, you know, even now, like, I feel like the older I get, the more moments I get.
I hear you,
I
dude.
feel like vice versa, but maybe it's because I recognize those moments a little bit more than before.
Right.
Before, the knowledge was not there, so I wouldn't recognize those moments. So they would hurt me, and I wouldn't understand what's going on. Like I couldn't, I would always bottle it in and blame myself, being like, chill, everything's fine, it's okay, this also is okay, and that is okay. But we have to understand that everybody has their own limits, and you are the one to say what's okay, not the society around you, and not even your bandmates or your boyfriend or your husband, or vice versa, your girlfriend or your wife. It's you, it's your body, it's your life, and you have the right to feel. You have the right to feel. If you feel down, you have the right to feel down. Yes, if you feel down for 3 days in a row, you have to put your shit together and do something about it. But give yourself that space, that liberty of feeling. Okay, I feel like this because of this person, or okay, I feel like this because of this situation, or analyze it, work on it, and only then you will understand yourself. But obviously, to do so, you do have to either read or listen to books or podcasts. There are so many out there. Oh my God, I wish they were out there when I was a teenager, I swear. Because it was just not out there. You know, I would just only read whatever was given to me in the university, and sometimes find rare books that somebody told me to read, but super rare. Internet was not as big when I was growing up, not even when I was doing university, you know? So like nowadays it's so easy to get knowledge. All you have to do is allow it, find time for yourself, find time for it. So that's what I did. And I mean, I still am struggling. Sometimes I overwhelm myself with work, and I understand that for like a couple of weeks I didn't open a book, and I'm like, okay, reading a book is not just extra knowledge, which is insanely awesome. It's almost like a video game, and you level up, you're like da 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 da, you know. I don't know.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
It is, right? But it's not just that. Reading a book is like meditating. You activate other cells of your brain that involve all your imagination. And I'm not only talking about fiction books, even non-fiction books. You have to like think, you have to like, gears have to turn, like it's work, it is work, you know. And that levels you up, that makes you different, that makes you better version of you, because it's you. You don't do it to somebody else, or somebody else doesn't do it to you. So a lot of people are like, well, I'm like this and I don't want to change. Okay, nobody says, you know, be like this. No, be you, just be a better you. You know, there's no limit to improving, and I'm trying to improve as much as I can, because I understand that without it, there's no way further. There's no way up or further, whatever you want to call it. You know, different people like it different ways, but you stagnant, you stay on this in the same spot, and sooner or later it will knock in your door and it will be ugly. You'll be like, okay, the entire, I don't know, a couple of years passed and I'm still where I was 5 years ago. I mean, if that's your goal, you still have to learn a lot about it. You know, if that's your goal, if you're happy with your life, you're happy with who you are, amazing, good for you. But you still have to learn a lot to have the knowledge to acknowledge that you are good where you are.
I like that. The
I
knowledge
don't know,
to
it's
acknowledge.
like
That's good.
but it is true, right? It's so simple, but it's so true. And you know, we surround ourselves subconsciously and maybe not willingly, really. We surround ourselves with so many tasks every day. Like I just left my notebook upstairs because I was getting ready for, you know, for you guys. But every day I have some things to do every day. And I'm like, oh, and I should also, you know, take care of myself, do my nails or something. I forgot when I did my nails last time. I don't have time.
Did that actually just cross my mind today? Just today, I was like, I need to paint my nails, but I don't have time. It's crazy, but it's so true. Like making time for yourself.
But you
It's
have
hard.
to,
Massive.
exactly, because if you can do it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, after a while, if you don't have time for yourself to read that book, even to paint those nails, just slow down and forget about your routine, your job, your family, your kids, whatever it is that you have in your life going on, you know, you have to learn to slow down. And that is something that even when you learn and you think you know how to do it, you still don't know. You still don't know, because it goes away like this. It's so easy to be like, okay, today priority is this and this and this. And it's already 7 p.m. You're like, oh, I'm exhausted.
I feel that in my soul.
Yeah, like, all I want is to hug my dog and close my eyes in my bed. That's all.
Alicia's about to shut her laptop and go do that right now. I could feel it.
My dog's like right down the hallway. You know that when they're just sitting there waiting.
Oh yeah, they're like,
your work.
so
Attention, love.
Oh, that is so
yeah,
funny.
so going back to your question, really more like a statement that you made, I would say that I think it's always important. And even when you think you've learned a lot, don't stop, you know, go for more. There's the human brain and in general humans superpower is that we can learn fast. We just have to allow it.
Yeah. Have there been any resources at the moment? Like, is there a book you're reading right now or something that you've really been enjoying that's helped you at the moment, or anything you want to shout out?
So as I just mentioned, I haven't touched a book for the past couple of weeks. I've been working on this book that is called Learn to Live with Yourself, which is a nonfiction book that I more like study than read. So I do like 3 to 4 pages a sitting, and I literally underline what is important for me, and I go back and I do it again and I read it again and I find other resources that talk about the same thing. It's a really small book, really small. I'm almost done with it. Actually, I started it in my last days of touring, which I believe it was like now that I remember, like the beginning of October maybe last year.
Okay.
So I just started it then and just slowly like digesting every 3 to 4 pages. However, I often like to read books that are fiction, so more like stories together with a nonfiction book. So not at the same time, obviously, but like while I have one
that would be impressive.
that I started, I know, right? I think that's possible. I'm sure there are people.
That's her next goal. The next time we see Lena, she's just gonna have like 8 books in front of her all at once.
No, come on. That's the thing. I want to enjoy the one thing. I much rather do like less but enjoy than I do so much and then I was like, what did I have for breakfast? I don't remember, you know?
No, 100%. You know, something I as you had mentioned that before you were in the band, you were doing hair and makeup and you're into fashion. And I know that's something that has carried over with the band as well. I mean, you look so fabulous, especially when I see you on stage, just decked out. So I would love to hear too, just like on the fun side of things, like what are your favorite tricks when you're on tour to stay fashionable, especially with limited resources on the road, which I know is a challenge in itself.
Oh yeah, it's a challenge for sure. I don't think I have like special secrets or anything about it, because every single venue is very tricky. So no matter how much you put into how you look, after the second song, I look drenched. So like a cat that you immerse in the water and it's like, you know.
No. Great image though. Great mental
really
image.
is.
I know, right? So, okay, so for all the girls and boys out there that like makeup on stage, one trick that I learned was to make sure that all the products that I use are good and vegan. Now, vegan doesn't necessarily mean only, oh, no animal products used. Yes, the majority of makeup does have animal product, but that's not even what I mean. Not tested on animals, you know, and all that. But you are putting heavy makeup on your face every single night. Your face needs to breathe. So make sure that you are not, how to say, you
Not
spend
putting like
as
gunk
much
on
as
your
it's
face.
needed. Spend
Yeah.
as much as it's needed to put good product on your face. Now, that's not necessarily like, you know, a good product is not necessarily the most expensive. Watch out, because often is vice versa even, you know. So try to do your research, try to look into maybe other musicians and what they are using, maybe look into some makeup artists that are very big on social media and they are very careful and they care about quality of makeup, not just how it looks, you know. So that is one thing that I definitely learned more, because first, you know, I was very young and I was going for, okay, wow, these colors, I never seen them before on anybody, I'm going to use them, you know, this and that, especially having the knowledge of how to use them, you know. I didn't have a lot of resources. We don't have Sephora in Moldova. Not even close around Moldova. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have, even at the time when I started, we didn't even have like online stores that you could like ship from. I had to work with what was there, you know? So yeah, that's one thing that I had to learn later on. And I try to be very nice and very kind to my skin, because, you know, our body is not one use only.
Yeah.
We need to take good care of our body. So that being said, I try my best to stay as hydrated as possible just so my skin looks good. When it comes to what I'm wearing, it's more like a comfort thing. I try to be to look interesting and comfortable at the same time. In fact, you will see that I don't really wear heels on stage. Even though I like high heels, you might see me wearing them in the music video or in photo shoots, you know, but you won't see me perform. I think the highest like I ever had like some platforms that were like this tall, max. So I'm looking for that as well, because I want to enjoy the show. I want to be the music. I don't want to be a doll on stage that just is there to be pretty, and hopefully I can also sing. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do that when it comes to my wardrobe. Other than that, I mean, my hair is easy because my hair is dreaded. So I either do a ponytail or I just let them go. So it's a little bit easier, because when my hair were not dreaded, I wasn't in a band yet, because I did my dreads like a year before I joined the band, I think, something like that. But I do remember the struggle of like, you know, a little bit of humidity and your hair is freezy like this, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess be careful with also all the products that you use for your hair, because your hair is also not forever. You have to be careful. In a few words, be nice to yourself and think about yourself. Don't put too much thought behind how you know, oh, is this gonna look good on stage? Yes, think about it, but don't prioritize it. You know what I mean? Like prioritize comfort, prioritize quality, and then you're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel much better.
100%. Such good
Yeah.
advice. I
It
will be
really
thinking about this next time I'm in the makeup aisle, I promise.
That's so good. I mean, earlier on, we were, of course, talking about everything from where you came from to everything on stage we just mentioned, but really going back to like the roots of metal for you. I know your real crush on metal started when you were around 14 and with your first love being Nirvana. And I loved the cover of their track Aero Zeppelin from a few years ago that you guys did. So, are there any plans on going back to the legends and maybe doing some other covers soon? Because the Infected Rain covers over the years have always been so epic.
Well, we haven't done much with Infected Rain when it comes to covers, but with my guitar player Vidic, I did a couple of covers with his other project that is literally called Another Kind, because we know each other since like I was 16, so we share a lot of like the same taste in music, especially like for older music that we're listening to, and we share a lot of like stories together and stuff like that. So often it's like the perfect collab, you know. For now, I am not thinking about it, even though very often when I listen to certain songs, like literally recently, my vocal teacher told me to listen to this vocalist, Etta James.
Oh, at last. She's soothing,
Jazzy,
beautiful
correct.
voice.
Correct. And I'm listening to many vocalists from that era in that genre, but you know, she told me specific songs, and I was listening to everything she has out there, right? So I remember thinking that how awesome it would be to do a heavier metal version of one of her songs, right? But the thing is, I'm working on so much right now that I don't even see a space where this could happen. But
Yeah.
maybe, you know, that thought, that seed is planted somewhere there, and it will happen a little bit later.
I hope that I now have planted that seed since bringing it up, because
I'm
honestly,
hoping.
I listened to that Nirvana cover a lot. It was really cool seeing a different take on something that's
Thank
so
you.
unique with a different vocal tone, and I was really all about it. So this was a very selfish question, but I had to know.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, and something that too I also really wanted to ask you, because you touched so much on your DIY roots. You know, when you first started the band, it was like you were booking your own shows, managing everything, contracts, finances. There's just so much more that goes into a band than just getting on stage. And you have that expertise, which is really unique, especially for as long as you did. So I'd love to know if there's any skills, like what you think the most important skills that somebody who like wants to be in charge of their own band and be a boss babe should know getting into a band.
That's the thing. Don't be a boss babe. The reason I'm saying that is that I don't want to take credit for like all of this. It's been a band effort, a group effort, you know. Obviously the only time that I really put my foot down and I took full responsibility was, I will make the first album happen. I have to. If even if that will not work, I will have something immortal that is immortalized on a CD that I've been part of. And so that's when I took multiple jobs and I made it happen, you know.
Wow.
But again, don't do that necessarily, because I had to go to the hospital. Like, I was sick. It was too much. I did too much. So doing not enough is not good, but doing too much is not good either. So just be persistent. Listen to your body. I wish, again, somebody told me that when I was in the beginning of my career as a musician. Also, believe in yourself. Don't wait necessarily for you know, a pat on the back or a compliment. Just do it no matter what. Don't wait for them, even though, trust me, it comes from a person that does not have a super high self-esteem. And I, like, if like my vocal teacher is giving me a compliment, I'm losing it. I was like, no, come on, you know, like, isn't that true? You know, like, I don't know. It's just in me. It depends how you grew up and what was planted inside your soul as a personality, but no matter what is planted in your soul, just believe in yourself, because nobody else will, especially in the beginning. Nobody will. You know, family, friends, everybody will try to change your mind. As you know, like I've been there. I was already having a good career, everything was going fine, and every person I knew was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? You, I mean, you have to invest so much time in this new thing, you know. And granted, I was lucky. Nobody was ever like disrespectful, like out of my family, out of people I consider family. Let's say that nobody was ever, you know, you're stupid for doing that or whatever. But I didn't have the support either. So mine was like kind of in the limbo the entire time, you know. And yes, it put a lot of doubt in my head. It did. It really did. Especially in the beginning, when all you get is hate from people that listen to you because you're this new band that they think is trying to be somebody else, you know. But sooner or later, you will cross that line and you will not be the new band that is trying to be somebody or something in their eyes. So basically what I'm trying to say is just work hard. If you know for sure this is what you want to do, invest you in this. Invest your time, your money, your spirit, your emotion, your just be ready for that. If you're not ready for that, this is not your job. This is not an easy job. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, don't get into the music industry for money or fame. Do it because you love it.
Especially
that's like
nowadays, guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can be so famous and sit home and make music. Like I've seen it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've seen it. I've also seen super hardworking people that never sit home. They're always on the road and they are just as famous as that other person that just sits home for some reason. Basically, what I'm trying to say, we live in an era that makes it more complicated for the musician. Internet is out there in many countries, even for free. So what are you going to do? You're going to battle with people that get it for free? No, just continue doing you. And people that believe in what you do, and if you will, you know, you will touch people's soul when you are you're genuine and it comes from your soul. No matter what comes out of there, it comes from your soul. It's you, it's genuine, it's authentic. Because everything else, sooner or later, will just not work anymore. Like if you're just a gimmick, or if you're just trying to fake an emotion that you're not even familiar with, it's not going to work forever. Maybe it will work for a couple of years, but I don't know. It's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not, you know.
No, I think people can smell it out when something's not authentic.
I think when things are genuine as well, it for some reason just gravitates people towards you more because they can feel that you actually have a passion and that you want to be here and that you want to be doing this, regardless of if it's going to suck for 80% of the time and you're just living and soaking up that glory of it being amazing for the other 20%. So I think it's definitely a massive thing. So I get where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah. Actually, something you mentioned that I would like to ask as well is, you know, the band started 15 years ago. Around then, MySpace was the thing. Like the social media that we have now did not exist back then. So I'd love to hear like your evolution as a front woman and how social media has played a role in kind of the pressure, the responsibility that you feel in the band now that you have like these kind of resources at your fingertips and influence too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I didn't get Instagram until 2013. Like, I think my first picture on Instagram was when everybody already had Instagram. I mean, I had Facebook, right? And for me, it was like already a lot. I was like,
I fought getting on Facebook for so long.
I have to answer people?
I didn't even get Facebook until I needed it for a course in my high school. Like I was so anti, I just called my friends, you know, that was what I did.
But I was the last person to leave MySpace. That's all I know. Anyways.
Well, as a band, we did have MySpace, and then we got YouTube just so we can upload our YouTube videos and everything as a band for sure. But Vidic was in charge of it because he's very, very good with technology, and he always was. In fact, he is like really, really helpful with that. But me first of all, I never consider myself as a front lady or front woman or front person in general. Was just like, I'm just part of this band, you know, and I still think that way. But obviously it is always known that, you know, the vocalist is considered somehow to be that in any band, no matter how old or new, no matter what, you know, genre of a music, no matter what is your gender, nothing, it doesn't matter. It's just, okay, you're the vocalist, you are who speaks to people, you are, you know, the music speaks with you, but you hold the microphone. That's what it is, you know. So I felt a little bit of almost like they're always watching kind of a thing, you know what I mean? I felt a little bit like that in the beginning, where like, okay, you know, like where is the limit to what I give to the social media and what I don't, what I keep to myself. In fact, for the longest time, I would never mention my private life ever. In fact, even with a partner at the time, we wouldn't even hold hands in public because of that, which is so stupid, right? Like, do you be you, like, but it was a thing, like, it shouldn't be mixed up with the music. Work is work, private life is private life, you know. Maybe it's because I come from an era where internet was not even a thing and people were more private about their life. Maybe that's why it's in me. But slowly I learned that certain things are really awesome to share, because even though there's going to be always people that will try to be too smart about it, but sometimes when you share certain things about like what you read, what you cook, how you eat, how you train, how you know, just hang out, I don't know, sometimes when you do share those details of your private life, right? And when I say private life, I don't necessarily mean who you go to bed with. Let's speak honestly. Like, private life is really what toothpaste you use. Literally, that's private life, right?
Yeah.
So when I started understanding that that information might be very useful for many people, or I might learn many things about the products that I'm using, you know, myself, because I'm sharing it with the world. How else are you going to know sometimes, right?
True.
So I like that. I mean, there's still certain things that I try to keep for myself, just some, but being a vocalist, especially, and writing lyrics made me more open. And now it's either I don't give you anything or I give you everything, kind of a thing. Like, even in my, like, even if like in my life, right? I don't just have people, the people I just know, I don't call them friends. Friends are friends, are family, you know? So for me, family is who knows almost everything about you. Like, literally 99.9% of the things of your life, they can be part of if they wanted to. They really can, right? Maybe only when I go to the toilet, I can close the door. That's all I'm asking. I'll keep that one for myself.
Yeah.
Seriously though, for me, it's like that. I'm like that with friends. I'm like that with family. I'm like that as a partner for my, you know, boyfriend. I try to be like that as a person. It has its ups and downs because often you get criticized. So I'm like that in social media, right? If I decide to share what I eat or how I eat, I will share it, right? And some people might hate on you for being vegan or for pushing this lifestyle of eating vegetables, right? It's so terrible.
I thought your avocado toast looked great, for the record.
And I love the mushrooms that you grow. Like, we're fans, okay?
We're fans.
Please, keep sharing.
I'm also vegan, so please, I need your recipes.
Perfect. So, I mean, I did make this decision for myself, especially as of the past 3, maybe 4 years, because there are different types of social media, especially thanks to the paid social media. I understand that for certain content that is more private, you can select where you post it and who you share it with, right? Because I do understand that only very close fans and or listeners, right? Even if you're not a humongous fan, but you can relate to the music, you're curious about my lifestyle, you're curious about how I eat, what I do. I put recipes there, I put all the names of the books that I buy, that I read, that, you know, I share more, how to say, more details. I could put one picture from a photo shoot on Instagram and I'll put the entire photo shoot on Patreon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm not being selective because now I'm getting paid. No, being in this industry and doing what you do is not just what you do on stage, is everything. So my job is social media as well. It really is.
Thank you. That's how I feel. That's how Tori and I were
just were
talking
talking
about
about
this the
that.
other day.
Absolutely. And it's in my calendar. Make a post here, do this, make sure to do that, answer this. I answer every single person.
Wow.
I answer every DM, every email, every Patreon message. I answer myself. Nobody is in charge of it. I am. Right? So that takes time of your life, of your private life, where you could either read a book or spend a moment with your husband, wife, family, mother, I don't know, child, maybe. Depends on who you have next to you. Your dog, like in my situation, right? So as soon as I thought about it that way, I was like, okay, so it is part of my job. Yes, it doesn't pay all my bills. It's not just that, but it adds to the payments of my bills. So it helps me. It makes my living situation a little bit easier. Yes. So it's either the same job or a secondary job. Think about it how you want. It's still a job, even if you don't get paid by it. Like, you know, even if you don't have Patreon or YouTube that eventually gives you the opportunity to, you know, to get paid for advertisement or whatever, it's not a secret. Everybody can do it. You don't have to be a musician. You can literally just have your Kook channel and be big, humongous. It doesn't matter what you do. It's part of your job, you know, because social media, if you want to do anything nowadays, social media is the one thing that everybody uses. Nobody even uses, nobody even uses like you know, cards. Like even I have a lot of tattoo artist friends, right? And
business cards.
and nobody even uses that anymore. You know, like people are like, okay, scan this and go there or whatever. You know, get an app for this. I have an app for breathing. I have an app for working out. An app for my everything, like everything. So
oh my God, it's so true.
You have to, if you choose for yourself or for your mental health or for just because you don't have time, if you choose not to be as active on social media, it's also awesome. Good for you. Good that you can survive without it. We cannot. Being a band from such an unknown country on the planet, literally, we would have never survived without internet. We would have never succeeded. I believe so. I really believe so. When internet became bigger and bigger, social media became bigger and bigger, and the opportunities were bigger and bigger, and I'm sure they will be even bigger in 5 years, 10 years, right? Everything is changing. Everything will be different then. But for now, I try to work with what I have, and that's part of your job. You know, especially if you are an artist. If you're an artist and you don't have social media, forget about it. Like, what are you an artist for? Whom? For yourself? Maybe your friends that are going to come over and see. Yes, maybe if you have enough money and you're lucky and you can do a gallery like back in the days. I mean, people still do galleries. Artists, they still do, but you have to promote your event.
How?
And where are you going to promote that?
So yeah, you know, so I just chose to share. Yeah, I'm just sharing. This is, for example, my vocal studio that I've built with my own hands. Like I have it right here. And I posted about it on, you see that over there? I literally made a closet into a vocal studio and it works.
That is so impressive.
That's awesome.
That is super, super cool.
Thank you. But I would never be able to do it if I didn't have the true fans that didn't think that paying $1 or $5 a month to subscribe to a different social media, especially in the times of COVID, when it was like the end of the world for musicians, really, it really was. It ended many bands. But thanks to our fans and thanks to their love and support, we survived and we are moving on, you know. And I did this, I built this, and I was recording music. I didn't go out of my mind without work. I was stuck. I couldn't go work with my band. We are not in the same country or same city. We are not even in the close countries next to each other. I couldn't do anything. I had to do something.
That is remarkable.
It's kind of crazy that we had, sorry, Tori, but just that we had this conversation literally earlier today about social media and how so many people can look down on it, or if it's a Patreon, they just think, oh, this is what work is now, just posting online. It's like, you know what? Yes, that is what work is now. And we're adapting and we're growing. And if we have the people online who want to support these careers and lifestyles that really are not your average normal jobs, then I'm so grateful for that. So the fact that you've been able to tap into that too, and you don't take it you don't take advantage of people in that sense. It's like people know what they're paying for and we know what we're giving. And I think that's a really awesome, not only exchange, but just way to show love for people who are doing things that usually don't have a good chance of succeeding.
There are so many ways you can support your band, a band you love. If you don't have the opportunity, let's say you have a family to feed, and even giving those extra $5 away is a lot. There are many other ways to support the artists that you love, is by spreading the word, by sharing, by commenting, giving positivity out there. And everything matters to us. I don't only love people that are on my Patreon. I love them to pieces. And good for them that they have the opportunity and the possibility to support. I love everybody equally. I won't show love or respect for people that are disrespectful. Yes, of course not, you know. But yeah, when people are like you say, they're like, so your job, so you sit home and you just make posts. Okay, so how about what's in that post? How about how, you know, for example, when it comes to this vocal studio, for example, how much time was put into building it, step-by-step pictures of it, the entire description of what went into it in detail, so everybody else can do the same. No secrets like it was back in the day. Ooh, I wonder, how did they do that? Nobody will write about it online, you know. Now, yes, you can find out almost everything online, but here I did it literally with my hands. I had no man around. It was me. That's it, you know? And I had to rely on myself. I literally made a door of this closet fall on me. I had 2 bruises for a while. Oh yeah, I'm not a handyman, you know, like I wasn't taught how to do it. So accidents happened.
Yeah, well, you've come a long way, and yeah, like you said, it's so cool to be able to learn more about you and like see the fruits of the labor paying off, especially in that vocal studio. So look forward to seeing too what music comes out of it, perhaps.
Oh, you already did. Yeah, Agdis's was recorded like this.
Yeah, and in the future too.
And a lot of other songs, everything basically recorded from, let's say, from the 2000. So in the past almost 3 years was recorded in this room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
All the collaborations. In fact, I was able to finally take collaborations. I was never able to do that before because I had to literally go rent a vocal studio, pay people that work there, record, and maybe it was not even good enough, but you don't have more time. And then, you know, here I can spend as much time to perfect it, to be my own critic and, you know, work on each piece for as long as I want.
Yeah. Yeah. You're such a great example of just a leader in the genre. So I'm so glad to have you here today. And I feel like I've learned so much. I feel
like
too.
a leader. Don't call me a leader.
Okay. Not a leader.
Not that, but
no.
a very badass
Nothing
human
wrong
being.
with that. That's a big compliment. And I thank you. All I was trying to say is that was never my goal. It was never my goal to be the leader or something like that. You know, I just try my best to surround myself with understanding and loving people. And I fail at that too, miserably, very often. But that helps a lot and encourages you to work and be better and, perfect it.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, on that note, Alicia, I think I know what time it is. Do you know what time it is?
I do know what time it is. It is time for our jaw-dropping segment. This is a segment that runs at the end of every single episode of She's with the Band. We always love our guests. You can take your time with the questions. It can be more like a speed round, but it's 4 questions, all regarding some pretty awe-inspiring moments that have happened throughout your career. So Tori, would you like to take this one away?
My pleasure. Let's do it. So the first one here for you is, what is the most jaw-dropping experience you've ever had at a show?
I think it was at this festival in Czech Republic that was suffering from a big storm, and they weren't prepared for it. It was a festival that was happening at a ski resort, not during winter, but the storm was just so strong. The wind was so strong that the stage was flying away. They had to stop the show. Now the organizers of that event, they had the idea, and they asked almost every band, I think they asked if we were okay to perform for whoever was left, whoever didn't leave, in this bar. There was like a ski resort kind of a bar, so small, and they're like, let's just improvise, do something for people, like, and we did. It was literally so little space. People were watching from outside and inside. I was singing on the bar. I was like literally on the bar, I don't know, island, I don't know what to call it. And sound sucked, but everybody was so happy, so we never had to do anything like that before or after. Hopefully awesome. That won't happen. It is awesome, but it's so stressful for the musician. You have no idea.
Of course.
Right.
Awesome for the fans who just get to have like that drunken stupor of a night listening to one of their favorite acts.
It was like a party in your garage with right. that you came to see anyways on a big stage, but they are all of a sudden in your garage. You know what I mean? I think that was probably the most like, whoa,
I can understand why. That's amazing, but yeah, that would be a lot of stress to be under for such a short amount of time, which kind of leads into
preparation. Nothing. Our crew guys, oh my god, poor guys, they had to like literally coil things together while we were kind of on stage to make the things work.
Wow,
I don't know what they did. Magicians. I love my
Well, next up, the most jaw-dropping misstep early in your career and the lesson that you learned from it.
I don't know. I would say that just I don't know. I mean, I would have to think about this one really, because nothing really like bad or gigantic happened like that, as of lately. Obviously, I would say COVID was definitely something that nobody was ready for. Big thing that everybody had to put up with. And like, I learned a lot from that time when you couldn't even travel to see a family, couldn't travel to rehearse, couldn't travel to do anything, to play shows. You basically had to figure it out. Like a lot of people thought that's it, we are out of job. Our job is not doable nowadays. Nobody, people, even if there are people left that care for music, because people were caring about surviving.
Right.
Even if there were people caring for music, they will just apply to, I don't know, older bands that are out there and just support and listen to them, So it was pretty tricky, We definitely learned that our record label is full of amazing people. Nobody even slightly once suggested or did anything to harm the band or to leave the band or to abandon the band, which was so important. We literally just signed with the label And in the beginning of 2019, and a year after this happens, we just started to work on this next level of the band. So excited, so many plans out there, tours and everything already lining up, and all of a sudden it's not there. But people stood by people. At least in our case, they did. They stood with us, and they helped. They were checking on us here and there, and that was very important. I learned from that a lot.
Yeah. No, that is a big one. I think it was a great time for the community to come together. I think the music scene came through for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the next one we have here, here's a fun one. Most jaw-dropping female artists they would love to work with, especially now that you got that vocal studio for all your collaborations. Let's hear it.
I don't know. I mean, there are many, many, many talented women out there. I don't really necessarily like have a female artist that I wish I could work with, because when I listen to music, when I see music or musicians, I don't see, what's in your pants. I don't see
Right.
what you're wearing even sometimes. I don't see how old you are or where you come from. I see what you give now. I see what's coming out of you. So for me, a little bit, it's more difficult. I don't go out there looking or searching for females in this industry, vocalists or guitar players or bass players or drummers. It doesn't matter, right? I know that this taboo of men are doing it better is being broken by a lot of very insisting, talented females, and that is amazing. But that was never something I felt like I need to do. That was never my goal. I was just being me and trying to just be creative in music. I know not everybody thinks that way, and a lot of female musicians especially, they do like to only support female musicians and only, not only, mainly, let's say mainly, and mainly help each other like that. But just like we've helped, my band helped bands with female vocalists in the past, we've helped bands with male vocalists in the past. And I'm sure it's still going to happen in our career, just because we are giving people. And if you're nice, I mean, there's no reason for us not to be nice back. Just no reason. So, I mean, I think that as of lately, because I've been working with my vocal teacher again a little bit more often than before, because I had a surgery that I had to recover from, and it was very important that I recover with my vocal teacher, because I removed my tonsils, which are not too far from your vocal cords, which do not affect your vocal cords. However, you do not speak for a while, so you have to like kind of come back to your groove and find your groove again in a way, right? Oh, sorry. So I think because we've been, so close for the past like month, especially, I would say that it would be so awesome if me and her could do a song together. And
Isn't
actually,
your vocal coach Melissa Cross, by the way?
Yes. Melissa
Awesome.
Cross is
We
my
love
vocal
her.
teacher since 2013, and I highly recommend you guys invite her for your guys' show, because
she's coming on Friday.
There you go. There you go.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you guys have her, because she is a wonder in this nature. She is the power that woman has, and the knowledge that woman has is insane. So many people could learn from her, not only as vocalists, as teachers, as actors, as human beings, honestly. Yeah, she's been my friend and my mentor for the past at least 5 to 6 strong years. We met in 2013, and she's still in charge of my voice and of my abilities, and she believes in me more than I believe in myself, honestly.
That is
So
so amazing to hear. And especially like she's such a role model to so many vocalists. I mean, she's taught just about everybody that you could think of. So,
It's true.
I mean, it's wonderful to see like such a strong woman who is such a powerhouse in this industry for everyone, totally inclusive too.
absolutely.
Great answer, you know, and an unsuspecting one.
See,
I love that.
I love how that took a little bit of a turn. That was great.
Yeah.
Well, and for our last one, the most jaw-dropping misconception about yourself that you wish people would understand a little bit better.
There are many. A lot of people, like I mentioned before in our conversation here, a lot of people assume many things about me specifically as a person, as a musician. They assume where I come from. They assume what I'm trying to be or say. They just assume. And unfortunately, that leads to so many misunderstandings. And then people talk. And even though they don't know for sure, they say that to somebody else. And all of a sudden, it comes back to me. Somehow I find out that somebody thinks that this is who I am. And obviously, I don't give a shit what you think about me. I really don't.
Yes.
But if you love my band, if you love my music, it would be nice if you knew the truth. The truth is, I'm not trying to be anybody. The truth is, I am doing this for me because it's the best therapy I've ever had in my life. And it helps me survive this life, honestly. Like without music, I'm lost. I need it. And maybe it sounds a little bit selfish, but I need it like air. And if that can help you as well, fuck yes. Amazing. And I hope it will. I hope out of thousands, I'm getting emotional. Thousands and millions of people out there, I hope there is one that can be touched. And I hope there's one that can relate. And I hope there's one that can see where I come from. That's all I want. I hate when people gossip about things that like I disappeared once from social media for personal reasons for like 5 days. People were assuming that I have cancer. Then I lost a lot of weight also for personal reasons. I was going through something mentally, but I'm not right there telling you about it right away. So right away, people are like, okay, she's sick. What's going on with her? Or this or that. And I appreciate people being
concerned
or worried,
right.
I guess. Yeah. But at the same time, do not make assumptions, because you will say that out loud to somebody. Somebody will think that's 100% information and will tell it to somebody else.
Super
and
dangerous.
Even though I don't care, for example, that can lead to misunderstanding with other musicians. Other musicians will hear that I am trying to be them, or vice versa, or something. I have fans sending me pictures of other vocalists saying, oh, look, she's copying you. Why are you doing that?
No.
Why don't do that?
Knock it off.
Nobody's trying to copy nobody. The fact that there's somebody else with dreadlocks, or the fact that there's somebody else with tattoos, the fact that there's somebody else that has my same gender and is holding a microphone is already good enough reason for them to compare you. Don't do these things, because then, so for example, I had to delete a picture with another vocalist that I took a picture with for internal reasons of that band, right? And I was respectful about it. I just deleted. You have no idea the messages I got after. Oh, what happened? So what happened?
What are you hiding? Yeah.
So what happened between you guys or something? I'm like, drama. Okay, so if you want to know something about me, I hate drama. That's why I don't really like to make new friends, because more people you know, more drama there is. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's so true.
It is true.
So less drama, please. Nice and easy. Be a human being, because I'm just a human being, you know? So I would say that I don't know if that answered your question, but there
It
are,
does.
Yeah.
I hope it does. I was trying to
It
did.
explain with some
No,
examples.
it absolutely does, but also gives more insight into that, because I also feel like I'm someone who has a very small circle of people that I let in, because I love the tea, but I don't like the drama. You know, that's very much where I come from. So if you keep the circle tight, you bring in those that you trust that are really like family in the end, it definitely helps in the end in terms of making sure that we don't have anything lost in the translation or in the crossfire.
Right.
So it happens way too often. It drives me crazy.
Way too often.
Yeah, we are a drama-free zone. So if you ever need a podcast with no drama, just let us know. We got you.
Perfect.
No, we learned so much about you, Lena. So just thank you so much for coming
for
on,
having me.
of course, for sharing your stories and really telling people what you are all about, because it's a lovely thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for having more unique questions, more than just what does infected rain mean and how many tattoos you have on your body. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh. Yeah, no. None of that around here.
No, next
we've
time we'll
seen
get
enough-
into some like horror movies next time, talk some Disney, but that's
Let's do
for a
it.
conversation for another day, you know?
Let's do it. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank
yeah.
you.
No, we will never ask you how you came up with your band name. Don't you worry. The infamous question.
That's what Wikipedia is for, folks.
Come on, everybody.
Thank
Get it
you.
together. But yeah,
too.
you've been such a pleasure. It's been so awesome meeting you as well. So thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, have a good day. And tell Melissa I said hi. If you see her on Friday, I'll see her on Thursday, but still tell her hi.
We'll do.
Absolutely. And of course, to everybody watching, be sure to hit up notfist.com for plenty more episodes and releases coming your way from She's with the Band. We have so much on the horizon, so stay tuned. You can like on all social platforms at Tori and Alicia, and give us a like, comment, all of that fun stuff for all of the podcasting platforms that we also appear on. Once again, a massive thank you to Lena from Infected Rain for hanging today, and we will see you all every single Wednesday right here on She's with the Band. On behalf of my co-host Tori Kravitz, I've been Alicia Atout, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.